B. My name is Brit. I come down the street and I have some beat.
Here we go.
We've set the tone now. We've set the tone. All right.
Amazing. Right, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another electrifying episode of Lockstock FM, where we bring you closer to the movers and shakers of the music and entrepreneurial worlds, which you most definitely are both. He always likes my MCing.
I love the horn. It's like when I hear it anywhere in the world, I think of Spencer and what he's up to.
I should TM that shit, I swear to God. Yeah. Joining us from the heart of Bali's bustling nightlife scene is the incredibly talented DJ Brett Allen.
That's so funny he says it like that, because when we're off the camera, he says the opposite.
A key figure in the Australian DJ production collective Rave Radio, previously Rave Radio.
Yep.
Brett has not only made a name for himself across Australia, but has also become a beloved icon in Bali's clubbing circuit.
Oh.
Brett's journey is one of passion, rhythm, and an unyielding drive to get people moving. He's known for his dynamic sets at renowned venues such as Shishi, which is obviously one of your venues, which we're going to talk about later, where his infectious beats turn every night into an unforgettable experience.
Fuck, this sounds way better than my sets already.
You should employ me, mate.
Yeah.
His recent collaboration with Whisnu Santika, is that
yes,
right?
Yeah, Whisnu.
On track Down to Dust showcases his ability to blend beats and create music that resonates with audiences far and wide. And tonight we're going to get a glimpse into the life of a DJ who lives and breathes music. We'll talk about your career, your inspiration, and what it's like to be a central part of Bali's electrifying nightlife. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Brett Allen. Thank you, Brett, for joining us on Lockstock FM.
That was a fantastic intro. Thanks for having me, Spencer.
I should get a round of applause for myself, really.
Actually, let's couple of hey ho's for the man. Hey! Oh! All right, we're good.
Amazing. So
I feel humbled to be here, mate.
Thank you. This is a big production, mate.
Mate, this is huge.
It's huge.
It kind of reminds me of Star Wars or something similar, you know?
Yeah. Well,
same
you
scale.
I've invested in the studio. Yeah. Last time you came here, this was like, what was it, a little... Your words, not mine. No, it wasn't mine. I should have said that bit out. So give us an intro about yourself, Brett. Obviously, the real one, not the one I just gave, the real one about Brett Allen.
Well, I mean, Spencer covered pretty much my whole life has been, the basis of my life's been music. I've been doing music since I was 13. My family used to own a successful venue in Australia. That's how I got into DJing. I used to have all the equipment set up at home, and then just fell in love with it straight away. I started learning on vinyl, and then pretty much everything I've done in my life's been based off music and DJing, and kind of spent 20 years. I spent about 10 years, I guess, learning the craft, right? Like we all did. We all started as, I used to play the Love Shack in a bar. And then,
that was your favourite song, wasn't it? Or that was the name of the place?
Yeah, no. So at my family's place, Melba's, was multiple stories, and my dad always knew I wanted to play upstairs to play the dance music. Yeah. But he never let me go upstairs. He made me do 1 year downstairs learning, because we did 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties. And then
you've got to get the sweat equity in when you're DJing.
He just said, mate, until you know music knowledge and music eras, you're not going up there to play your doof-doof, is what he used to say to me. So he used to force me, so I had to learn how to blend music from 70s and make it flow so it made sense. Because you can't play a song from the 60s and the 90s, it just sounds ridiculous, you know? Yeah. But I didn't realize at the time when he made me do that, it made me understand all music now and how it's structured, and that's how when you do a show or a set, you can create a flow, because you know, oh, if I'm playing this era, I can play this one off it, and I can bridge it with this era. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no shortcuts to learning music and history. You yourself have vast knowledge in music history.
Yeah, well, I went through a similar journey. Yeah, and actually, that's kind of one of the downsides, I guess, of not all of them, but some of the DJs in the modern era. They just come straight out of the production studio, go straight into a festival with one big blow-up song, and all they know to do is play the song. 15 bangers, one after the other.
It is crazy like that, hey, and it's the point is you can't play music unless you know music. And you're right, some of these artists now, I mean, good on them for doing it, but if they have one song and then they can't perform, and it happens to a lot of artists, they have to learn the management, like, oh crap, we have to teach this guy how to DJ, otherwise all his shows are going to suck, you know, and it happens a lot.
And you can't actually really learn unless you're putting in the hard work in the Love Shack, basically.
or the Love Shack, the Village People. I mean, that was Spencer's favourite. When I first met, he's like, mate, the Village People.
For some Love Shack.
Why
There's a little love place where we can get
That was a big one.
together. It's amazing though when you smash.
And Footloose. Footloose was a big one.
I don't know, that must be one of your favourites.
Footloose.
Or Proclaimers, I Could Walk 500 Miles.
Cut scene.
Bang, absolutely bang that one.
But yeah, the point is, you know, like, I didn't know then, but I know now, and it's kind of where I'm at now with music is I just fully understand the whole game, the whole picture. But it's taken me 20 years to figure out the whole picture, you know, and you don't realise until you look back.
At that point, you're too old and not good looking anymore.
Yeah, mate, that's why you got to, no, I won't say it on the podcast.
Were you going to take me down by the knees there?
No. We're gonna break Spencer down bit by bit, slowly.
I'm interviewing you today, Brett, not the other way around, mate, unfortunately. So,
Okay.
Since I've got control of the editing, we'll get into anything else.
I want Final Cut.
So, from Australia originally, you're kind of born into the industry because your dad was. We talked about this before. Your dad was quite instrumental in the nightlife field with a number of big nightclubs, right?
No, actually, we only had one, but we were. He was about 40 years in the Gold Coast nightlife scene. So my dad started off as a glassy, he worked his way up, became a manager of a venue.
For us English-talking people, what's a glassy?
He's the guy who's in the kitchen scrubbing the dishes and cleaning glasses and picking up empty glasses. So he's really started at the bottom. He moved up from a country town in Australia to the Gold Coast, and then. Yeah, it's 40 years later.
What was the name of that club?
The one he worked at was called Eliza's. It was very famous in the 70s. And then I think he did 10 years there, grinding, hustling, worked his way up to be the general manager of the place. And then in the end had a bit of a falling out with the owner and then
Didn't clean the glass properly or something?
Yeah, so who knows? It's the 80s. There was no phones. There was no...
And then he opened up his own spot.
Yes. So obviously over the 10 years, he was a very good networker. He became a public figure, I guess. And then so when he went and started his own thing, he had a lot of support from everyone and opened Melba's in 1981.
Yeah, and that gave you the inspiration. And as you said, he made you work from the bottom, as he did.
He did actually.
Like, there's no way you're getting a leg up to the top room just because you're my son.
He was very generous to me as a kid. There's no I didn't miss out on anything, but he never gave me something unless I had to go earn it.
But that's the way to be, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you just can't appreciate otherwise.
Even to this day, I was still spoiled. I can admit, I look back now to the road I've had, to the road, I still had everything sorted, it was...
But I think that's, for me,
it's okay,
that's
any father would do the same, but I feel like you got to figure out how to earn something, because if something happens like it did to my family, we unfortunately... went broke in 2008 and lost everything. I was just left there with my headphones and had to DJ my way out of the situation.
But that's made you who you are today.
Yeah.
Those kind of difficult times are definitely what makes the man, right?
Sure.
And you touched on having, I had kind of all these good opportunities. But I think that's important for families. If you don't have the opportunities, you should work hard so that your children have the opportunities, and so on and so forth.
For sure.
And that's kind of like the up. And then when you do have the opportunities, you've got to make sure your children appreciate those opportunities that they're getting, right?
100%, and it's just it's crazy how it's true, you can't buy experience. You got to just go and do it. You got to go to school of hard knocks, and just one problem after the other, get through it.
So what's the worst? What's the first or the worst gig you've had to do where I wouldn't say it's the worst gig, but looking back through the career, if you would compare it to the best one and the worst one.
I'm one of those DJs, right, that has done the worst gigs you could ever think of and the best gigs you could ever think of. So I've done it all when it comes to DJ. I've played in a fucking empty club in India to 2 people having some papadam. I've stayed in the worst hotels you've ever seen and also the most insane ballin' hotels you've ever seen. So I've done full spectrum. So to say what's the worst, I mean, some of the rural Australian shows that I've done were pretty grim, where I've stayed in the pub upstairs of the pub and, played to 3 people having a beer, going, hell yeah.
There's a couple of times you get those kind of shit. Well, certainly in earlier days, when you're earning your stripes.
Sure.
Right?
That's exactly what it was. Character building.
Yeah, and you're for instance, I used to take my DJ set and all the speakers. I used to lug them to the wedding.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did all of it.
Did you have the powered Eon speakers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they were Mackies.
Okay.
They were Mackie powered, and then I'd put up like the trussing and put the 2 or 3 really shitty.
And then you had like a DJ Spenny logo like this.
Something like this. And you were playing pure cheddar to these people. But you look back and you think, you're like, I can't believe I was there. But that is like, for me, super important.
I think our journeys have been very similar on the DJ front with that. We've done that. We've both done the hustle, the hard yards.
So I first met you as you were bursting onto the
IMS,
like the Chinese, an IMS in China. So I'd been in China for 4 or 5 years already. I was doing obviously music director stuff and DJ.
King of China, first man to do it, right?
Thank you. And you burst onto the scene.
But you were. Let's wind it. Like Spenny here was the first guy in Shanghai doing the first Westerner doing the big headline shows, mate.
That's true.
There was no one else before you. It was crazy.
I'm paying him a lot for this. Really, he's getting a good bit there's a cash under the table. So you burst onto the scene around 2014, 15, something like this.
Yeah, it'd be around something like that, hey.
And you were as Rave Radio.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting you the first time. I was like, who's this Aussie cunt? He's like turning up out of nowhere. No, I didn't think that. But you did. You came on quite strong, and one of the things I noticed about you was, and the way I hadn't been doing business, where you were very focused on the networking aspect of getting shows and getting relationships with people. And I'd never really thought, I'd always gone off, I'm like big time DJ. I release a track, I'll get signed. Whereas when I saw you come to the IMS, I'd never kind of really been to those kind of events before.
Yeah, sure.
And I watched you like network with the different people, and it was like a little light bulb had just gone on in my head. I was like, that is how you do it. Right. So talk to me about how you did that and how you kind of started Rave Radio.
It's actually interesting because I've never really spoke to many people about this. I guess growing up with Melbers, when I was a kid, I was constantly talking to like 40, 50-year-old businessmen as like a 13-year-old because my dad would make me go up and...
Hello, mate.
If I walked into Melbers, even if I was cleaning glass and I didn't go around and shake all the regulars' hands and say, good to see you again, how you going? Like, I had to, otherwise he'd call his friends to ask if I'd gone and shaken their hands, you know? So I grew up in very hospitality, and Melbourne was old school. It was very like, my dad was like, you must go around and shake everyone's hands that's there. That was his philosophy, and buy them a drink. That was his thing back in the day.
So you applied that. IMS was one of the first ones. You'd already done some...
No, so how it started with, I was trying to get on an agency, right, as Rave Radio. And then what many artists try and do. And then I kept wanting, everyone thinks you just need to be on a certain agency and you'll be successful, but it's not the case. And when I saw this flyer once, it was actually to Macau. It had all these guys from all these clubs in Asia. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. I should just go. And literally just went to Macau like that. And all I did was walk around and, oh, hey, mate, I'm Brett. What's going on? What are you drinking? And just managed to meet like 10 different club owners. And I was the only Australian guy at this conference. So I guess I stood out, right?
I felt sorry for you, I guess.
Yeah, they just say, no, let me buy you a drink. I feel bad for you. And it's amazing just from doing that one trip. I even met Sean on that trip. I met...
Sean is your current business partner, right? So we'll come on to Shishi a little bit later.
Then I don't know, it's just... basic hospitality is all it was. I never did it to make a move or anything. I was just like, oh, hey man, what do you do? I'm Brett. That's it. So
that was Rave Radio time. So Rave Radio was with a partner of yours, friend from Australia.
Yes.
That started in 2013, 14?
Long time ago, 2009. No. About 2011.
So you were doing a lot of stuff locally as Rave Radio before.
Yeah, we were about 10 years. I'd say we were 5-6 years as Rave Radio, just touring Australia. Yeah. And back in those days, the Australian scene was very strong. You could do all year round. Yeah. So you could do like we were doing minimum 100 shows a year just in Australia. It was really strong scene back in the day, Australia.
Okay. That was before a lot of things changed, didn't they? Australia. They implemented some kind of...
when all the drinking laws and everything started, and then it changed a lot. Yeah. And I think culture changed in Australia. You know, when we had all the big festivals there back in the day, the clubbing was really big, and it was part of. And now it's not so much. It's the music's really backwards there now. Like very commercial, but like they like hearing the Village People remixed over new stuff. You know, it's crazy.
Your forte, mate. You could get in there. Perfect.
We should do a tour, Spenny, of Australia.
Gay radio. We can do it together. So in Australia, and then you were like, right, let's break out internationally. Started looking at Macau, you just mentioned, and China was obviously a big draw. Right?
Well, it's funny. I just come back from Taiwan, but Taiwan, I think Sky Garden in Bali was the very first. Oh no, actually, it's where you live. It was my very first international show.
Where was that?
Dubai.
Really?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, I just remembered that now. So I used to, before we started doing like releasing songs, I used to just make loads of mashup packs, and they got quite a bit of traction back in the day. And that's how I got our first show at Nassimi Beach Club in Dubai.
Wow.
Then this guy just emailed us one day going, hey, I've got this event on in January. I'd love to have you guys come. And that was our first show.
Quite an epic moment when that happens, isn't it?
Mate,
you're like, damn, it's like...
So my first taste to international was staying at Atlantis, playing at Nassimi Beach.
Downhill from there, right?
Yeah, and I've still been trying to get back to Atlantis, you know? Yeah. But that was my first. And then I was playing at Nassimi and I was like looking up and I was like, God damn, I'm playing in Dubai, what the hell?
International DJ.
Yeah. So that was the first. And then I think after that, we then started getting, I've done America. I think one of the biggest was playing Green Valley in Brazil. That was a big accomplishment for us. But then obviously the Asian market we started doing really well in. We still were starting to break a lot of ground in Europe and other territories, but mainly Asia was where we were going well.
China was a really good market to get into, wasn't it? So you came to IMS, I met with you, and you started, because I also saw you at Hong Kong. I came to one of your, I didn't know you then, but I remember seeing you. And
that's a lie. The promoter told me Spencer saw the flyer and he wanted to book the most expensive table.
Well, a superstar DJ, man.
As soon as it was released, he was there.
That was in...
Zentral, huh?
Zentral, yeah, with our friend...
Good old DJ Yin.
DJ Yin, absolutely, he's still doing it there.
He's a legend, man. I want to be like you when I'm older, Yin.
Yeah, big shout out to DJ Yin in the house if he's listening. He's doing a club now in Hong Kong. He's a part owner of it, and it's called...
Sound Department, right?
No, it's called... Can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
But I know where it is. I've been in there. But I'm too old for that now. I can't go in there. Music's too loud. Hurts my ears.
See, it's a mentality age, bro. You're definitely not too old. When you start thinking like that, true, guys. When you start thinking like that, you become it.
Okay, so China. You started doing touring as China and Rave Radio.
Sorry to cut you off, Spenny. I feel China. I was lucky because I was going to China well before we met too. Like I got back in the Spark Lamb days, like. When it was not even an EDM industry or super, so I was in that market before EDM took off as well. So I'd say 2005 or 4, whatever. No, probably not that early, but in the early days of China, basically. So as the market exploded, we were in the right time at the right place. We'd already cemented our name in the market. So once it was big, you saw in 2019, it was, if you weren't already established in China, it's impossible to get into that market. Yeah. Very hard.
Yeah. And you were already in there.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just coming to the tail end of my DJ, and I kind of lost a little bit of interest at that point, I think. And you guys, you were doing regular releases. You had a couple of stuff coming out. You were signed onto Super Modified, I think.
Yeah. I'm Super Modified, yeah.
Yeah. Are they still going? You're still on
I'm on Super Modified, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's talk about the break from Rave Radio. So that was, a little bit contentious. I remember talking to you at length so because it was quite a long period of time where you were kind of separating with your, it sounds like a divorce, but it almost is, right? Because it's a splitting of a business, because you've created this brand with someone else.
Sure.
You guys have kind of gone your separate paths. You're not totally on talking terms. You've got different ideas where you want to go, different visions for your business and your ideas. Let's talk about that. How difficult was it, and what was the...
I guess, COVID was tough on many artists, and it just kind of wiped out all the years we put into building it. It just felt like it was destroyed overnight. So then obviously in times of hard times, stress and things come into play, and people start panicking, and it was just a weird time, mate. I had my own problems I had to deal with. He had his. Our problems were not the same, and I guess there might have been some animosity leading up to COVID, which didn't help. And instead of banding together and coming through stronger, we did the other, and then it was just a cat and mouse game for 2 years. Long story short, in the end, I tried settling it many times. I was unable to, and I just ended up walking away from it and just doing my own solo stuff. I didn't, and then even though it's funny, for like a year I kept thinking, oh, it's starting over again. I don't have the energy to do this. I've been doing it for so long. I was like, oh, I've got to start over again. And then it wasn't. It was just like a fresh start, if anything. And I've just been having fun. And I was about to quit DJing. That's how bad it got. Like I was like, all right, I'm just going to do the nightclub business in Bali and forget this music shit, because I was a bit bitter. And I think bitterness is a disease. If people get that bitterness into them and start living with bitterness, they have negative outlook on everything, is my opinion. And I didn't want that. I was like, fuck. And then it just, somehow during COVID, I just started playing a little bit, and one gig led to another gig, and I was like, I love this. I can't believe I was about to quit. It's like no matter what I do in my life, that is my passion, my love is music and performing and stuff like that.
That moment when you let off the air horn and the CO2 cannon.
That's what.
And you drop one of your Brett Allen monster mashups, and the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah, it was. It's fun. And then it just made me realize I'm so young still, and you see people like Carl Cox, Fatboy Slim, still crushing it, and Carl Cox is in his 60s. I was like, why would I quit this when I'm in my 30s? Like, now I'm just gonna I'm a big believer in life. If you have passion, follow it, because you'll have a good life, is my opinion. So now I'm going to DJ until I'm old as hell.
So now you're DJ Brett Allen. So you've dropped the rave radio stuff, and you started doing shows at Brett Allen. You've been working on. You started that kind of a couple of years ago now, isn't it? It's at least a year.
No, it's actually 1 year ago, Brett Allen.
1 year ago, really?
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough during COVID. I met with Ricky and the guys from Yellow Claw, and they gave me the opportunity to do music.
Yes, because you started releases on their labels.
So I'm very grateful for the opportunity they gave me. It gave me a platform to jump back in the game quite easily. And I just why I chose Brett Allen, honestly, just because especially in the Asian community, where is my main kind of focus is this territory, too many people know me by my first name. So if I was to call myself DJ...
You can't take yourself seriously, can you?
If I was like DJ Soundbar or whatever, they'd be like, oh, is that Brett? Oh, yeah. So
no, it's Soundbar. Call me Soundbar.
No, DJ Beat Destroyer or whatever. And they'd be like,
oh, man.
I don't have the energy to do a character.
I have struggled with that my entire DJ career, really, what I call myself. And I started off as DJ, well, actually, I started off as MC White Boy. I don't know if you know that, but back in the days when I thought I was going to be a garage MC, I was like, mic MC, here we go. Sounds of a DJ.
You're in the same boat as me. Too many people know you as Spencer. And if you were to call yourself, Skyrise or whatever, I don't know. Kingpin. It's just too...
Well, I was originally called DJ Spenny because DJ Spenny...
But that's not too far from you.
Yeah, not too far. Spenny was like the name people gave me when I was playing football. So people, hey, Spenny, pass your note. And so I took that name. But then when I moved to China, and around 2011, when it started getting serious and I started producing music again, because I was also making loads of mashups as DJ Spenny. I had quite a big...
That was the game back in the day.
Yeah, it was the game. I had a full-blown studio, because not everyone even had a computer at home back then. Yeah. Right? So I had a full-blown studio. I was making mashups, and I also was releasing on Crooklyn Clan. And I had
Crooklyn Clan, yeah.
What
up, boys?
Yeah, and I also got emailed out of the blue from some guy in San Francisco, a guy called Playboy, named Joey, but Playboy, so big shout out to Playboy if you're still out there watching.
What up, Playboy?
He invited me to San Francisco. I went and did a couple of shows in San Jose, actually, and around that area. And that was the first time I did international. I was like, oh, wow.
Your first was in America. That's epic.
And it was amazing. And but then when I moved to China, I wanted to release properly. I just couldn't couldn't have a song released as DJ Spenny. But it just felt weird.
But back in the day, DJ before your name was the thing. Eh? Yeah, everything had DJ before it.
And then you had to be taken more seriously as an artist before as a DJ. So I thought, right, I better change my name, change it to Spencer, and then I was like, oh God, now I've lost all my following of DJ Spenny. I had to go through all this whole kind of thing. Frustrating, and I've toyed with a few other brands whilst I was I did Cadian as my house music stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But always came back to Spencer Tarring, and it was a bit annoying because I couldn't take myself, because I had my business side, the same as what you have.
Yeah.
I found it difficult to separate my DJing brand from my business side, because my business is totally different to music.
Sure.
Whereas yours is kind of
similar.
You're doing similar.
Yeah.
So coming into Bali,
yes,
you have a very successful nightclub here called Shishi.
Shishi, yes.
Yeah. Which you opened with a partner in 2018?
Yeah, it was actually December 2019.
December 2019. And literally...
just before the pandemic.
1 month after COVID kicked off and everything shut down. It was an absolute nightmare, and you must have been like, I can't believe this happened.
It's funny because from the time we lost Melba's until this time was 10 years. It took me 10 years of grinding, hustling, whatever. And then I was 30 at the time. I was like, this is my time.
Yeah,
this is going
to happen.
I can't believe this is what I've worked for. And then it's like everything was going well, DJing was going well. And then I was like, time to jump in the game.
Yeah.
And then it all ended. Everything, and not just like everyone else was in the same boat, but it was just a weird feeling, right? And nightclubs and music, the two worst industries to be part of in the COVID. And it was just like, and then I remember when the DJ career ended, I was in Australia, I think it was March 12th, I was coming back to Bali, and everyone in Australia was like, what are you doing going back there? I'm like, I have to go back to Shishi. Music's over, I got to go, it's all I got left. And then got back 2 days later, game over, Bali's ended, world's over.
It was very difficult times, but kudos for you for keeping it going, because Shishi was basically one of the only venues that managed to kind of do a bit of business during COVID, wasn't it?
Mate, I got to admire Sean. The big
he's
boss.
A belligerent motherfucker, isn't he? And kudos to this guy.
He's my mentor, and I've learnt so much from working with this guy. Like, there's no option but to win with him. You know? And if something's, and this is what I learned with all the crap I was dealing with Rave Radio. Sean and I had real serious problems on our hands, and we didn't cry about it. We just went, all right, shit, figure it out this way, that way, this way, that way, until we just don't stop. And I've learned so much about how to put things together. I've just learned so much doing this, because Sean and I became friends over 5 years or so, or longer. And he always kept talking about coming to Bali. And at the time I was too busy touring and had my life in Australia. But that's the other thing too, when I was traveling in Asia a lot, that's when my eyes went, wow, okay, this is for me, I was like, this is where the world is at for what I do. Like entertainment, nightclubs, because it's just the bigger picture. The Gold Coast is just peanuts, like nothing. Here you can have, we get 8 to 12,000 customers a week coming to Shishi, you know, and we still think it can be much busier.
Yeah, well, you've gradually expanded it and upgraded it and changed it over time, haven't you?
Yes.
And obviously, since COVID has kind of come to an end, Bali has just exploded as a place to be. And obviously, Shishi is now reaping the rewards of being kind of like a staple in the nightlife during that time. I think a lot of people even feel like they kind of owe it back to you guys for staying alive and being there for them during that.
There were some fun times, even though there were tough times. Remember the times we had the no phones? They
were some of the greatest DJ nights ever.
I still remember people writing numbers.
Tell us about that, because I want to.
Well, I can't.
Maybe not. Okay, so
but like we had a period where you couldn't take your phone up, which was fun. And they're doing more.
This was for the girls, because the girls are sat there. They didn't have anything to do. They had to chat to people.
And people actually talk to each other again. It's madness. And the best thing I liked about it is I'd see people go around writing their numbers on napkins again. Like that's what you did back in the day, right? Here's my number on a napkin. Except they're just doing like a WhatsApp QR code and trying to...
I remember a couple of people having business cards they take out.
With their number on it? Jeez.
Absolutely outrageous. Back to the old school. So Shishi now is... What would you say? It's not the biggest, one of the biggest venues.
We're big, but we're not crazy big, because we have 3 floors, and we just did a renovation on the ground floor of the lounge, which is now a hip hop kind of club, cocktail bar and hip hop club. So the idea is running 3 concepts at the same time and having 3 different clubs going. So each floor can hold 500-600 people comfortably, and it's with 7 nights a week, so you always know you can go there and have a good time, no matter what.
You run a tight ship there, because I've been to. You've got a great all-you-can-eat night, haven't you? On is it Wednesday nights or one of the?
That's Sean for you, mate. He is the promotion master, and
it's just incredible value for money, because you go there and the food is really, really good,
and you
eat all you want, and it's like $20 or something ridiculous like this, and I just can't understand how it can be so good and so much value for money. So you kind of enjoy the food even more, because you're not paying through the nose through it. It's like
it's a win-win too, because the kitchen's so trained now, the food comes out super fast. It's like a really quick, high quality dining experience as well. So now have you been in there since we've done the renovation?
Yeah, a little bit.
So now we're really enhancing the visual. So we're going to start creating more of a visual show while you have dinner and stuff like that.
Trying to echo that the dome in Vegas, like
similar stuff to that. Yeah. That's impressive. That thing.
That is unbelievable. I really want to go there. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a trip to America next year just to go and see that place.
It is insane. It's insane
from the outside, and then when you go on the inside, and you've got these. Oh my God! Can you imagine a show DJ?
Did you see all
DJ Brett Allen in there?
Well, you two will have to watch out.
That will be amazing.
Did you see that concert in there, or on the content?
I didn't see it. No,
you should look it up. It's just crazy. All these birds flying around the.
Yeah, the production level just off the charts, right?
Yeah, $2 billion they spent on that. I think 1 or 2. I can't. One of the. It's definitely in the billions.
Okay, so music production. You talked about doing stuff. So originally mashups.
Yeah, so I started with mashups. Yeah. And then, the biggest thing we did wrong with Rave Radio is we never really were known for a certain sound or style. And
you think you followed the trend as opposed
to made it? Yeah, and I learned so much from what I did wrong in that project. And now all I make is club music. And my own principle, if I can't play what I make in my sets, I'm not releasing it. It's just that simple. Because
don't you, if you can't play it. Because if you're DJing and you want to play your song and it doesn't really fit, it doesn't quite sound good. And if you don't play it, you're damn well sure no one else is going to play it. Right?
It's that simple for me. And there's certain times, like I was just in Taiwan on the weekend, I had to mash up all my songs to be harder and faster just because some of my stuff's a bit more for the Western market.
A bit more for like the lovey clubby.
Yeah, more like slower BPM. But up further north in Asia is bang, bang, bang.
The slow wind stuff.
Yeah, so I just made mashups of all my songs so I could actually play them to a different audience.
So that was Taiwan.
That was Taiwan.
Which I absolutely hate you for going because Taiwan is like literally my favourite place to DJ and
it's
go
pretty,
to in the world.
I'm not going to lie, it's a great place. It's a fun place.
So did you do 2 shows or just Alter and...
I did Taipei Friday and then Taichung Saturday. Taiwan's awesome, eh?
Like women are just beautiful, aren't they?
It's not bad. And everyone's just so friendly, nice. The clubbing scene's great. The crowds are great. Everything's great in Taiwan. Yeah.
Yeah, I really am quite envious of you for doing that because the last show I did in Taiwan was about 5 years ago. And I just missed that place so much.
That was actually the first one I'd done as Brett Allen too.
Oh,
so
really?
that was a big milestone for me in the sense I was like...
And they got your name wrong when you landed, didn't they? They call you Brit.
Brit. And then when I landed back in Bali yesterday, it was, hello, Mr. Brit.
Everyone calls you Brit from
now on.
So
now it's Brit. It was great. It was more because I've worked with these guys for so long in the past as Rave Radio, and I was like, it was more of a mental thing for me. I was like, I have to prove that I can still bring it as my solo, and then the whole weekend went really well, so I was stoked.
So talk me through like your process for preparing a set or what. I mean, we're both seasoned DJs, so really we could just turn up and just play whatever we've got. We already know enough not to prepare, but when you do think about it, you can do an even better set, right?
Sure. So, I think now I feel humbled because I'm so experienced, when I knew I was going to Taiwan, I knew exactly the tempos, the style. Like, it's much harder than music I'd play in Bali. I'd play more tech house, bass house here.
Yeah.
There was all like trap, hard style, hardcore, drum and bass. I knew exactly how to flow it. And so I kind of know which country I'm going to now, exactly how I need to deliver the set, because if I was to play what I play in Bali or Indonesia, it would not work in Taiwan because it's too slow or it's not hype enough. So and if I play in Myanmar, and I guess you just get that, like you've been to all these countries so many times, you know what they want, and then you know how to deliver it. I mean, you played just China recently. How was the crowd in Shanghai compared to back in the day? Back in the day, it was all high BPM, you know?
Well, but the clubs in China have gone, all the big, or certainly Shanghai, all the big clubs have gone.
Yeah.
So like Tax, M2.
Crazy, huh?
They've just disappeared, gone.
Crazy.
And now they've got, the clubs are all kind of a little bit smaller. They're still big, but they're smaller room, like slightly lower ceilings.
Okay, like Shishi.
A bit more like Shishi, yeah. So you're playing similar kind of vibe as what you play in Shishi.
Okay, and they get into it?
They get into it, yeah.
Okay.
And you can still play a bit of open format as well, like there's some hip-hop clubs they really do. But for me, the hip-hop stuff is the most difficult to play if you're not doing it every week.
You have to, you
really have to know the songs. You have to know them. You have to know how people are going to react to them.
Yeah, it's such a trend to hip-hop, eh? Like, you got to know, you don't just play the Travis Scott song that we all Goosebumps. Everyone be like, they might want some special song from J. Cole or something
which I don't even know.
I don't know the culture. I don't know the trend. I've never dabbled in hip hop at all.
I was a hip hop DJ to begin with, actually.
Yeah.
I used to go to a club called Cabaret Prophecy, and while I was a DJ, I was basically the only white guy in there. And every time I play that song,
Must Be the Money.
No, it's the one. What you wanna do? N-O-R-D, or is it? No,
Nerd.
Nerd. It was Nerd and something else. So it's great. Anyway,
but see, back then you were right into it, hey? You were onto the trend, you knew the drops, you knew the cue points, you knew the...
And also there wasn't that much music coming up. There's not as much music as there is today.
It's insane, because anyone can release music now. You get DistroKid or something, just like we could make this podcast a song and just put a beat over it and upload it to Spotify,
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the way, there's some negatives to that, but there's also a lot of positives, because the creativity now is anyone can be creative. Because you just use your laptop to make it. My first studio, I had big computers and things all over the place. Now you just literally headphones, computer, you can make a track.
I find too with Spotify now, you discover so many artists that you would never have known of. You know how it does that? You go down the rabbit hole of the algorithms, and it's like, oh, you like this, you might like this. You click on that, oh, you might like this, and then you end up finding artists you'd never even heard of. It's crazy.
So have you got some new releases coming up?
I've got another 2 songs coming out. I just put one out on Friday, and now I've got another 2 coming out this year, and then I'll take a break in January. And then pretty much next year, I'll just release every month. That's my goal, one track a month.
So what's your inspiration for the tracks you do? Where do you find the ideas?
It's kind of crazy. Some of them are actually, they talk about cycles in music. I think some of these new songs I've been making, I've ripped some stuff out of tracks I used to play at Melbourne's back in the day. And it's now full cycle. Some of these vocals, no one knows what they are.
But they're still amazing vocals.
Yeah. I've done this one song called Love Music, and you wouldn't even know it's an old song, but it was massive when I was 18, Yeah. And so I'm just...
So do you get those vocals resung, or are you sampling them?
At the moment, I'm just sampling them. So I do it like, I'll just make it, I'll rip the vocal off AI, because I can strip it out of the track, and then I can build a song around it. And then if I sign it, then I'll pay to get it recovered. The good thing when you do female vocals is when you recover them, you can normally get 95% close to the original. Whereas male is very hard to replicate.
So when you're releasing these tracks, what's the main goal? Is it to generate revenue from the song, or
honestly, I don't
get shows?
I just want people. I just want DJs to play my tracks. I don't care about any royalties. I don't care about streams. I don't care. I'd rather see Tiesto play my song than. Instead of getting 20 million streams on some label no one cares about and no DJs play it, I'd rather see Armin playing it. Like that's all I want is DJs playing the tracks. And just have fun, mate, and I'm not too emotionally invested. As long as I think it's the best I can do, on to the next.
I was making a reel on Instagram the other day, and DJ Brett Allen's song came up. I can't remember what one it was.
The one with Whisnu's been doing quite well in Indonesia. That just passed 300,000 streams, which is cool. It's crazy now, because it just... when I started the solo stuff now, I'm about to pass Rave Radio's Spotify on monthly listeners.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a big achievement, isn't it? Yeah,
well, it just kind of happened really quickly, and then I was like, oh, shit, okay. Because I've been doing songs now for almost a year, and I feel like now because I've just got my own ideas in my head, everything's possible. Like I don't have to check with anyone, I don't have to ask for anything. As long as I think it's like workable. And it's just like anything. Like now I'm just like, oh, cool, I can do that, because I don't have to talk to someone about it and then shut you. I mean, you're the same. You're
I could never be a DJ duo. I always thought it was very difficult to do. Apart from the fact you get a mate to travel with and enjoy the show, that's kind of a good thing. For me, it's that, one, you got to split the show fee.
Sure.
2, it costs twice as much to go, because they've got to pay for 2 flights and 2 hotels and all this kind of stuff.
It's definitely challenging, for sure.
And then I don't want anyone touching my decks whilst I'm DJing.
I'm very much like, you've seen me, mate. I'm a grump when I'm DJing.
You are a grumpy fucker. I try to say hello a few times. You're like, I'm like, what's up, Brett? And he's like,
I'm one of those DJs that you can't talk to me when I'm playing at all. Definitely.
I love talking to people when I'm DJing. It's the main thing I love.
Because I mix so fast that I'm like, when I'm doing it, if I get disrupted, then I forget what I'm doing and my whole flow's out the window.
I might try and come and mess you up.
Only Spencer can talk to me.
So doing business in Indo, setting up Shishi, ownerships, this kind of stuff, and legal stuff. Have you got any tips for people like that are looking to do business here, and like operators, like in particular, say Australians listen to it, they want to come into?
I definitely am very lucky because I had the opportunity with Sean.
He's Australian as well,
He's Canadian.
Canadian.
But he's been out here for 20 years doing this business, so he's already had all his infrastructure and everything set up. So I was fortunate enough to join what he had built, and someone coming over here starting from scratch. I mean, it's unless you're like already got some resources, it's a very tough town. Yeah. There's more places are failing than working. I mean, you see how many bars and restaurants and stuff there are in Bali. It's oversaturation and everything. It's just, it's not for the faint-hearted, and you really got to know what you're doing. And if you don't know how to do business in Asia and how things work, if you're just coming from the West, I want to do a bar in Bali and this and that, I wouldn't advise it, because it's just, unless you already know how things work, how the government works, there's a lot of layers to it. It's not just, oh, cool, I open my bar and come and have the finest beer on the island. It's not as simple as that.
Indonesia is an interesting, because it's obviously not, I mean, I wouldn't like to say it's definitely a developing nation, isn't it?
It's definitely got a lot of opportunity, though, if you play the game the right way, for sure. And it's just, you got the volume of people here, and there's no place.
And more people coming every day.
Mate, the volume, and it's a game of volume, this business, and the tourism we have here is just insane. Like,
the road networks are starting to really...
They're really struggling with the roads, there's no question. What the future holds, who knows? But
hopefully drones, like flying drones. I can just put a helipad on the top of Shishi, and I can just get my little drone and land on the top. And maybe I can abseil in.
Imagine that infrastructure will take 20 years.
I can abseil into that. I've always wanted to abseil into a DJ book show. Just like come in.
It was funny, I was watching Robbie Williams' concert on the phone yesterday, because he just did and he comes in upside down at Nebworth, just like, Jesus.
Mate, that's what we know. That's the goal for me as a DJ, to do that, to get to that.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to it, you got to make sure you just don't rush into it. Don't have FOMO. Really, like, do your research and weigh up the risks, I guess. But there's no more risks here than doing business in the West. Same. Like, there's risk in anything you do in life.
Yeah, well, I did a show yesterday, actually, with a guy called Robert. And he asked me, what was the biggest thing for doing, like, getting into business, and I was just like, just don't worry about it going wrong. If it goes wrong, so what? Like, just as long as you're a competent person and you've got the ability to provide value to someone, you always wake up the next day and can have, you can have a good shit in the morning. That's enough. That's happiness. Right?
I got to be honest with you though, bro. Like, I spent at least a year or longer during COVID just worrying all the time about how it's going to end for me. You know, that was my start to doing business here. It was like, I didn't just start doing a little bar. I just jumped straight into the big time, with like my first project. And I was like, and then only in the last kind of year, I've just kind of changed, like what you said. And I'm just like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. At least I'm giving it a fair crack, and I'm going to see it right to the end,
Yeah, if you spend your time worrying, it's
counterproductive,
counterproductive, and also not a good life to live, is it?
It's not, because then you just
affect everyone around you and everything like that.
Yeah, and then you just become like worried about everything instead of just like, sometimes you just got to wait for problems to happen and then figure it out. Like instead of just, what if this happens? What happens when that happens? It's well, wait till it happens and then do it.
And then figure it out.
I'm pretty confident though. The only thing I know I'm fairly confident about is we won't shut the island down for 2 years anytime soon. I think that thing won't happen for a while.
That's a once in a lifetime thing.
I think so.
And it was, unprecedented really. And the problem is how scary it was, how the politicians and governments around the world reacted to it. Like a complete overkill. It was crazy. People were more scared of the lockdowns than they were of the actual disease.
It's madness, yeah. I mean, that's where we kind of got to be good friends during COVID, Always coming over here playing the golf. That was good times.
Yeah. And you let me have a little spin on Shishi every Wednesday night, ladies' night.
Ladies' night, yeah, it's a good time.
The girls used to come to see I still had a little bit of charm left in me. They'd come to see DJ Spenny. I started playing the same music every week, and Brett got upset. I was getting lazy. So, other interests. Let's talk about your beautiful. Is this one of them?
The clothing. All right. So this project, this is called That Guy Co. I started this project during COVID. Why I would start a clothing brand with no money, I have no idea. But I did, and it slowly keeps growing. And so when I was about to quit DJing, I was like, right, I'm just going to do nightclubs and just be the nightclub guy and go around and meet it. And so then I went through this phase of I have to have loud shirts on every time. So everyone's like, there's Brett, you know, he's got the loud shirt on. So I started buying some shirts from Zara that were loud, and then I'd be in at Shishi going, what the, this guy's got my, that guy's got, 3 guys have my shirt on. I'm not wearing this shirt anymore. Yeah. I'd be like that. And then I met Golda, my business partner, just by coincidence at Shishi. And I was like, oh, no, this was before that. I met her. I went to the fabric store. Someone told me to go to the fabric store and
make a shirt for yourself.
Make my own shirts. Yeah. And then I started getting all this fabric. I got obsessed with it. I was going and finding all this print and then getting it tailored. And then I was like wearing it at Shishi, like no one has my shirts. And then when I met Golda, she's like, ooh, that's gross. That's from that fabric store. And I was like,
damn, I can't wear
this shirt. Because I was like, I'm wearing my own shirt too. And she's in fashion, you know. And she's like, ooh, gross. You got that from Ultimoto. And I was like, oh, righto. Okay.
Damn it.
And then I said to her, I'd be really cool to make my own shirts. And then that's how we met. And then started talking about it and then did a sample range. We've been... our approach to this project has been really sensible, and we haven't got in over our heads going, I've got a clothing brand, let's go, let's pump it out. I've just done things really snail pace, and we managed to put them in at Finn's. We've been doing really good sales there every month, and then I've got another store in Uluwatu. So I've been slowly going, and I've just been going it, and whenever I feel comfortable to push it a bit more, I go for it again. Yeah. And now we're at the point now where I've just started the e-commerce site. I'm going to focus on getting some more consignment around Bali just to get more exposure. So when it's on consignment, we sell quite well because Bali's a bit old school with clothing. People have to see it. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of people walking into shops here.
That's nice shirt, I'll buy that.
Yeah, so it does well. And the consignment was a great, we did it for 1 year and sales are really consistent. We're like, okay, cool. The concept works because we're not doing any marketing. We did it for 1 year at Finn's and this other store. People are just going in, trying it on, buying it because they like it, you know? And so we're like, I mean, this is enough sales to tell us that this works. It wasn't just like, so again, my focus in the next 6 months to keep growing it gradually. So I mean, like, it's just a passion project turned into something that I enjoy, but my goal is to keep building it. And then obviously I'm going to have to get someone to help steer the ship and grow it.
Maybe someone that's got experience in the fashion industry.
Yes. I have ideas, but I'm not a fashion mogul or anything like that. Golda Design is the designer, and she comes up with all the designs and everything. I'm just meant to be growing the thing, you know. That's my.
So you're going to give me a couple of those shirts to take back to Dubai.
You can take as many as you want, Spencer.
Okay. Can I wear them in my Rolls Royce and look like a real?
You are only allowed to wear them in your Rolls Royce.
Okay.
Are we actually going to get to the point of this episode where I got you into ice baths? Are we going to get to that question?
Oh my good days.
Because I want to claim that, and I want everyone to know I am the reason he does ice baths.
That is true. I have to give it to him. You said one day, let's go to Amo Spa, right? Was it Amo Spa?
No, it started off at Soham when you and I were there.
You are right. Yeah, we went to the Soham one.
And I was like, mate, come up and have an ice. And you're like, you didn't really know what they were.
What the hell is an ice bath? Who would do that?
And you guys all follow him on social media. He's addicted to it now. He's got one here. He's got one in Dubai. No matter where he goes, he's in ice.
Yeah, baby. The Ice King.
He is. And I'm happily can claim that I got him into it.
I'll give you that one. And it was in Soham, which is kind of a little bit of a lame ice bath though, isn't it? It's only like 16, 17 degrees.
It wasn't cold at all. Yeah. He was like, okay. And then he went on, before he built his own, he then started going around to all Bali trying to find the coldest one, right? Yeah. Amo was pretty cold.
Amo was about 13, 40 degrees. I remember the first time I got in that one, I was like, oh, it's so cold, like a real noob.
The one
built one here.
The one here is good. We had one the other night, like dressed, obviously.
Like me and you in the ice bath, like cuddling with our balls the size of little raisins.
One of the coldest I've found in Bali though is Nirvana in Bro. That's cold.
Yeah. Nirvana and Body Factory. They both have like 2 or 3 degrees.
Oh, Body Factory's got a cold one.
Yeah, very, very cold. And it really makes a big difference when you go in the cold ones. But I built one here, and I got you over, and you've been in it a couple of times. I remember
it's so
look
good.
On your face.
You were surprised last time how long it lasted.
To make it there, I was surprised. Respect to you. But yeah, ice bathing for me now is just it's an essential part of my life now.
See, it's got to be convenient. So, like, my biggest problem I have is time. Is like. If I go to the gym or I can't do 2 hours a day of that stuff, you know. So sometimes I'm at the gym, I can't go, and the gyms I go to, F45 doesn't have an ice bath. So for me to access an ice bath, I have to like either pay one-time use or pay for a membership and go there. Like, you know, it's unpractical for me at the moment, and I love it. I wish I could do it more, you know, but it's sometimes. So when Spencer invites me, I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah, well, it's a good little bonding session as well, isn't it?
Mate, we have to have another. When do you leave?
Yeah, Friday.
Oh, we have to have one Thursday then.
Yeah, okay.
Or Wednesday.
I think that's one of the things I'm quite good at as myself is making the things that I like convenient to me. So I like.
It's the only way, but it's the best. Yeah, the one thing when Spencer gets onto something, he just does it the best. He sees it through. He's like, all right, if I'm going to do it, let's do it properly and get it done.
Let's talk a bit about family life. So you've got a son.
I have a son. Yeah,
he's here. What's his name?
Quinton.
He's. I remember he was obviously in Australia during the pandemic, and you were struggling a bit because you couldn't see him.
Yeah, that was a tough time because my whole life had been doing this project here, and then I remember it was after I did the Taiwan tour in 2020. The crossroads. I had to coming back to Bali was like a huge decision, and then when I did Taiwan, it was like go back to Australia, go back to Bali, and I went back to Bali because I knew in my soul that I had to keep running the course. And unfortunately, I didn't see my son for 2 years. I've always been the provider. I've always looked after him. And for me, for me to provide in the future, I had to make some hard choices. And it was.
Yeah. Do you think he understands those choices yet?
I don't know. I hope he does. Like, I try and keep him as close as possible as I can. And I think he's starting to realize now. But that's why I moved him over to Bali because
how old is he now?
He's 14 and a half.
Yeah, because I think when you're a young boy or turning into a man, like understanding the difficulties of adulthood, it's not in your comprehension. You just don't understand the reasons why things happen until you get there yourself, and then suddenly you're like,
I keep reminding him all the time. I'm like, you know, just so he keeps knowing, and I try and keep him close. I'm a young dad, obviously, so I kind of talk to him a bit younger than most parents would talk to their kids.
Yeah.
Your dad's here, right?
My dad is here, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
staying here?
Yeah, he's going for a swim at the moment, but he's here.
Wow.
Have you met him before?
No, I've never met him.
Yeah, you like him, he's pretty funny.
He's a funny guy? Yeah, I've seen you guys, he looks like a lad.
Yeah, he's got hair like you, mate.
Yeah, no, well, he wishes he had hair like me.
70 years old, he's still got this long...
He's 70?
He's 70.
Good on him, mate.
71,
That's what I want to be doing, is getting around the course.
Still loving life.
But it was tough. So pretty much for 2 years, I just played GTA with my son on the gaming. And I owe it to my...
Oh, like online?
Well, so at the start, it was really hard because I was just calling him all the time. And kids don't like talking on the phone. I was like, how's your day? Good. Oh, what are you up to? Nothing. I'm like, what else happened? Nothing. I'm like, oh. And that was for like 6 months like that. I was like, then my sister, Melinda, which I owe it all to her, is like, get a freaking PlayStation and do something that he's interested in. Yeah. And as soon as I got the PlayStation,
he's loving it.
Game on. We'd have some weekends I'd do 6-7 hour sessions with him.
Yeah.
Then we'd get like other this is for 2 years I just gamed with him all the time and would play this game.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And we'd just be on the headphones for hours.
Yeah.
And to the point where I'd fall asleep sometimes playing and he'd be like, Dad, Dad. Because no matter what I was doing in my life, whether I'd only had 2 hours sleep, I made sure I'd played with him no matter what, you know. And we had
Did you get any good at it or not?
Mate, what was the Call of Duty Warzone? Bro, that was so hard. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. So I'd have him, my cousins, my brothers would all game. And then before I even hit the ground, these Korean little 9-year-olds, boom, boom. And you're like, I can't even land. And then I'll be coming back down once I respawn, boom. And you're like, what the heck? And then it was so fun. Then I'd get in the car, Quinn would be on the back shooting them, and then we're like, go, go. Man, a lot of fun, eh? No wonder these guys they connect the whole world with that gaming stuff, eh?
It's quite interesting. I've never kind of thought about it that way, but it's a really great way to, certainly if you're not there, connect with someone, I guess.
Mate, it changed our whole relationship, that. It was insane. Yeah. And then the 2 Christmases we didn't spend together, they were rough, you know? Yeah. I was up at 4 a.m. each day doing presents virtually on the thing. And I was like, just on my phone for it was a really weird time.
So your son's here, he's going to a school in Bali.
International school, yeah.
International school in Bali. And actually one of the things I want to talk about was this.
Oh, yes, I am, as Spencer knows, I'm having my challenges with the vapes with my son at the moment.
So it's a big thing with kids, isn't it? It's because it's so accessible. Yeah. And it's kind of been marketed in this way that it's not as bad as smoking, which it isn't. The proof is there. It's not as bad. It's only like 5% of the damage of smoking, but it's so enjoyable and so addictive that kids are just basically, they're just eating it up. How do you deal with that? What's the...
I wish I knew, because I when I first found out, I started getting angry, and then, then I learned that it doesn't matter how angry I get, he's still going to do it. So it's like, so then I kind of changed my approach, where I'm just like, just trying to tell him, I know you're going to try things, but I don't want you to be a smoker. Like, you don't have to be. It's like, and I've tried everything. I've tried watching the big vape thing on TV with him, with all the testimonies. I've tried showing him people. One of my best friend's father passed away from smoking. I keep reminding him of that. I've tried everything there is. He's even doing 0 nicotine ones now. And I'm like, but it's, I don't blame him for doing it. And I don't blame being in Indonesia either, because it is a global problem. And it's not, and some people say, oh, it's because he's in Bali. This, I'm like, no, it's not. Because I talk to people in Australia, and they're like, it's mental. Everyone's doing it. Yeah. And the difference is, when we were kids, right, we'd try a cigarette and we'd be like, oh, that's disgusting, not doing that. These things taste like bloody soft drinks and sugar drinks. So, and if you'd find a flavor you don't like, you just keep going until you found the one you like. Yeah. And then you just keep chuffing it. It's crazy. I think this is a generational thing that we can't have any control of. And it's left the station, and all I can do is try and keep teaching him to not be a smoker, and he's got
to make his own decisions, doesn't he? Really, I mean, that's what I guess that's your job as a parent, is just to guide, but not tell. Say, this is how I think you should do it, but it's your choice. You've got to do the best things you can.
It's crazy when you have the kid. It's like they're your baby for so long, and then one day they're just a young man, and it's a weird transition. Now he's doing things that we do, and I'm like, come on, man, you can't, like, smarten up. And it's crazy too. Kids just don't listen to you. Like, I'm like a pretty young, cool dad that's like not out of touch with anything, and I try and tell him things. I'm like, if you listen to me, I'm going to save you 10 years of your life. And you can have the best life ever. You'll be crushing it when you're 18. Yeah. But he doesn't listen to anything I tell him. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm just telling you because I want you to have a better life than I have. Yeah. That's all I want for you. I want you to be happy. Yeah. And then they don't listen. Yeah.
Well, I've got that next. I'm planning on kids at some point. So,
all right.
Mate, I'll call you, Brett, for some advice on how to deal with young, out of control.
I'll be children. At the vape rehab clinic. What are you talking about, mate? Imagine what they're going to be doing by the next generation.
Oh, who knows? Well, I mean, I think they're going to be jacked into some VR AI thing.
AI is crazy. It's crazy. You know what though? Like, it's handy, and if you're a very busy person like you are, it's very convenient.
Well, I'm relying on it so much for so many things. To be honest, I'm always thinking, if I didn't have it now. I mean,
but you're different though. You're using it to help with your workload and skill sets. Yeah. When you start replacing talent for it, even it's like when you sent me this thing. It's really well organized, this and that, but I could tell it was from that. But I think there's going to be a time where there's a lot of discussion in music saying, well, AI will replace producers and this and that. It won't.
Well, I mean, I think this is the way I see it is like, for instance, when music first started being produced and you had to do it all live and it was all one take and you record it and they'd like cut the tapes and reattach the tapes and all like run and then suddenly all the production equipment got better. So more people can make music, that's how AI is going to be. So AI is going to be able to make music more accessible. You'll be able to like, right, give me a drum beat that sounds like this. Okay, no, I agree. I like it. No, change it a little bit to sound like that. So it'll just be this. It's just another tool that makes us more efficient, right? Of course, it'll be able to make crappy music, but also the best people will be able to make even more amazing crap stuff.
That's more where I was leading with that comment. It's like AI can make a song that sounds like Skrillex, but Skrillex can make a song that is Skrillex, and he'll go, okay, well, AI's doing this, I'll just make it better. Yeah. And
I use AI to make my songs even better. Yeah.
And so it's going to just make people who are already amazing better, really. And I think it's going to be a lot of redundancies in the world for like just basic tasks. That's definitely going to happen. I've heard many people worried in the accounting community about this kind of stuff, bookkeepers and stuff like that.
Yeah, taxation, bookkeepers, and like law as well, because you can use ChatGPT for like writing legal contracts, all this kind of, it's crazy. So I use it all the time for all the stuff I'm doing. It saves me so much time.
Because you could just go like, whatever jurisdiction you're in, you're like doing something for your house in London. Yeah. You could be like, all right, do a new rental agreement for London, this area, have all the and it'll have the latest law. Yeah, it's really quite powerful.
And I'm quite interested to see the world's first AI DJ.
It's going to happen for sure. I mean, Tale of Us are the guys that are bridging the visuals with they've created this. That's what made it. You know, when we opened Shishi, LED wasn't like. It
wasn't as big as it is now. Yeah.
But since the Tale of Us and Afterlife concerts, in my opinion, it's made people, all they want's LED now. Whereas there was like a phase where if you had too much LED, you're like too EDM and like, let's have less, be cooler. Now it's the opposite. People want to, whoa, you know.
Well, they see all those visuals of the big trance concert where the guy leaning out and going, ooh,
the 3D, it's crazy. And so that's the one step there. The guys are now controlling it with the gloves and stuff, and they're going like this themselves.
Oh, really?
That's what Enema's doing. Okay. So he has it all synced.
And that's driving a lot of the stuff you're doing at Shishi, right?
Well, I just mean it's...
Because you put a new, like downstairs, you put more LED screens in.
We're going to create some more cool stuff for sure, but that's one step towards an AI show, you know? Whether they have one person controlling it or who knows, but there's going to be something in the next 10 years that's like...
Well, they can generate the graphics and the effects on the fly now, can't they? According to the music, this kind of stuff.
It's crazy times ahead.
So what's next for Brett Allen? Where are you going next? What's the next 5 years look like?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think this year I broke a lot of ground with my music career again. So I feel like the next 5 years I'll be...
Reinvigorated you?
I really feel like the path I've set now will just keep going. And it's kind of crazy though. Like when I was doing rave radio, it's crazy how much I've learned and figured out about life. You know, we were pushing so hard to be like the Chainsmokers or whatever. And the harder you push, the less you get back from that business for some reason. And because now I'm doing my solo stuff, I'm just being myself and not really thinking too much about it and just doing my craft. And I'm getting way more organic traction than I ever did with rave radio for not even just doing my work and not being too try hard, I guess is the word, and trying too hard to make it. And because of that, I'm getting more opportunity. Like, I'll put it this way. With Brett Allen, I get offers sent to me all the time to play. With rave radio, I never got offers. I used to go and get the offers myself. So that's the difference.
Oh, that's a nice turnaround, yeah. Are you managing those yourself, or are you getting that?
No, I'm with Super Modified. So I manage myself, but I have an agent.
Okay. I've got a new track I'm working on.
What's it called?
We haven't come up with a name yet, so we're just working on
Lock, Stock.
Lock, Stock, the fucking lot. No, it's that track I sent you. I don't know if you...
Oh, the melodic one.
Yeah, because I'm getting quite into like melodic techno stuff.
Spencer's now a raver. I send him party memes and now he gets the jokes when I send them to him.
I'm loving it. It has actually changed my style quite a bit. But the thing I find with that style of music is you have to be known for that music.
That's what
you can't just turn up and DJ that if no one's expecting it, because everyone will be like, this is boring. I'm not going, I want to party, you know. But you have to have a reputation. This is what I play and I'm booked to play that music. There's quite a big difference.
This is why with my stuff, I'm just doing bangers because and I'm not interested in people like, oh, why don't you go back to Australia and do some shows? I'm like, well, only if I can play in Asia, I know exactly what to play and I just play what I play. And I don't want to have to go to Australia and play a whole show that's not me, if that makes sense. I'd rather just, as you said, people book me for this, people book me for that. And yeah, it's the only way to do it. As soon as you start book me for a hip hop gig, even though I do festivals, it's I don't know. But what the future holds, I mean, Sean and I have massive plans in Bali still, so we got a lot of projects we're trying to finish.
Some more venues?
Yeah, we're about to open.
Anything you can tell us?
We're about to open Malverde, which is next month, so December 15th is the date.
That's the one next to...
It's in front of La Favela.
La Favela, yeah.
It used to be the old Bistrot.
So that area was obviously... it was like the centre of nightlife for pre-COVID.
Until COVID.
Then COVID, it kind of died off. Now you think things might move back there? Or?
Yeah, it's still getting... the markets we get there is much more tourist and... It's more holiday makers, whereas Shishi is more the people from the hotels, domestic market. So that street still has a lot of people on it's just we don't go there that often, right? But that street's still happening on the weekends. Still a lot of foot traffic. We've also got land down the road where we're building Los Gringos again. So we're gonna.
Oh, Los Gringos was epic, mate.
Yeah.
God, I used to go in there and get cleaned out with tequila shots.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's wild in there. So yeah. The future, I have no plans to leave Bali anytime soon. I'm just going to base myself here. I mean, my son's almost...
It's good life here, isn't it?
I enjoy it. And for doing shows in Asia and stuff too, it's really easy to get around. I was in Taiwan in 5 hours the other day, direct flight there and back. Yeah. It was super easy. And yeah, I like being in Asia. I think being in Bali is much easier for foreigners like us to do business as well. And it's just everything's close, right? Like I just like being in Asia, period. There's many opportunities here if you work hard.
Well, you've established yourself quite well now, haven't you? And having a club to be able to return favours to DJs and stuff is another big.
Yeah, it's funny that I really am a
lot of people giving you blowjobs every time you go to say, "Oh, Brett, you know, good to see you, Brett. How are you?"
I'm really blunt with Shishi when I'm like, I do not do DJ exchange ever, and I tell people all the time. So when people even utter the word to me, I just. Yeah, because I really believe.
I'm going to offer you a show in my bedroom for.
I'll do it for free, mate.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, no, I don't want free. I want to come.
It's just I don't believe. I've never believed in it. I never have because I built my career in the past off what I do, not doing a favour for someone. You know, like, and I always believe in that scenario. There's always one loser. You know, one person gets something out of it, the other doesn't. So, but like. And I'm really I'm a really straight person in this business, and I believe if you're not, you don't last, you don't go the distance. Like, I'll only ever do something at Shishi if it benefits Shishi. You know, that's just how I am.
Well, it seems to work quite well so far, isn't it? Shishi is definitely one of the more prominent venues in Bali now.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We've worked hard on it.
Yeah, especially with DJ Brett Allen's No Shame EDM.
There it is.
Fest.
See, when we started the episode, he was talking praise, but that's actually the real Spencer there.
Yeah, mate, this
no
guy
shame.
Absolutely slams out.
I remember remember in COVID when you were getting back into it, and you're like, give me a bunch of tunes, and I did, and you're like, mate, these are shocking. I can't use any of these. They're so bad.
How can you play these and keep
I remember it so well. It was like Brett's USB, and you're like, I can't use any of these. They're shocking.
Pure cheddar without
that was it. Just
the
like
name of the game.
He's like, how do you live with yourself?
Amazing. All right, let's wrap this up with a couple of just a few little questions at the end. Favorite track to play when you're DJing at the moment, or like a classic one that you think, and maybe like a modern one.
Oh man, it's such a.
Can't be your own song.
No.
You can say one of my songs. I can give you like a DJ Spelly mashup.
Up the fee. Man, it's such a tough one because it just depends where I'm playing. Hey, I got to say, I love always finishing a show with a drum and bass track.
Oh, really?
Always.
Have you seen the recent kind of Boiler Room set from Chase and Status?
No, but they're awesome, eh?
Oh my God.
It's actually a Boiler Room from Boiler Room?
From Boiler Room. You must watch that video.
Okay.
It was absolute firing in there for like an hour and 20 minutes. It's all Chase and Status tracks he's played. One of them, the one that goes ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Bro, that track.
Oh my God. I was like just going like this, like head banging.
Something like that to finish a set.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's so epic, right? When you hear it and you're like.
Unbelievable.
Like if you've just heard this and then that's, it's crazy. That track particularly is off its head.
I was never, when I was younger, I was like drum and bass is for like, idiots, like, scumbag people, whatever. And now I listen to it, I'm like, God, I would just love to be go and lose myself in one of those.
One thing that blows my mind when I hear a track like that, I sit there and listen to the Sonics and you think about how it is to make a track yourself, right? And you're like, how do these guys make this? How? Yeah. How do they make it sound like this?
Yeah.
It's like when you hear a Knife Party track or Skrillex, you're like, how?
Yeah.
Like, how are these guys so good at what they do, Yeah. But anyway, drum and bass, there's no particular one. I have many edits and mashups of a famous song that I play with drum and bass at the end. That song is awesome too, Chasing Status. But I always like finishing a show on that.
One artist you'd like to collaborate with?
I do love Moxie. He's one of my, from Barong family, his bass house music. I'm a big bass house music person. I just think he's amazing. I think his tracks are super original.
Hopefully he'll see this podcast and he'll reach out and say, sure, Brett, let's do it. Thanks for the shout out. I got the ChatGPT made this question, obviously, vinyl or digital. I mean, does anyone play? I learned how to play on vinyl. That's all I played at the start. Yeah, so you're old, mate. That's the point.
No, mate. I am a 13-year-old. It took me it's funny how quick people learn things now, eh? It took me at least a year to figure out how to mix. That's how long it took me to figure it out.
Yeah.
But now if you pulled out records, I could get it straight away, as long as I knew the BPM range of that vinyl. Mm-hmm. Remember back in the day when you'd have all of them, you'd put the sticker on it, write the BPM, then arrange your thing, and then have them up on the angle when you.
And I have massive biceps from shoulders from carrying the
tracks.
I mean, when I started, I used vinyl for about I started on CDJs and I went back to vinyl because I was doing hip hop stuff, and then I started using Serato, the really
the
very early days. But
that changed the game
all the time, and it shut down. Oh, there's no music for a minute. As I restart, oh my god, so embarrassing.
I went through my Serato days and Tractor as well.
Yeah, and now just using CDJs, right?
It's just Record Box,
Yeah, Record Box is pretty good.
I was using Tractor in the start of my early days with rave radio, but that was like as shows were becoming shows. So when we started, it was like too much of that, and then we had to. We're like, oh, it's not very good look showmanship wise.
Looking at your laptop, you're doing an email or
doing. So then it took me a while to get used to USB.
I think the thing with USB is it's visualizing, finding the new music, isn't it?
You got to spend the time organizing Record Box, and it's like there is no formula how to do it. Everyone has their own system, and you just know how to navigate to certain songs. And
and
that's why I use.
And look up histories from songs we've played before. Know like what you know.
Well, Spencer actually set up my Record Box for me because I am such a retard with technology. I brought it over once and he was like, oh man, remember it took us like 6 hours?
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking hell, mate. I should have paid you. You should have paid me.
Living in the Stone Age.
Yeah, he set up, I still run the same setup to this day, the cloud setup, and Spencer's like...
Changes the game though, because also when you want to share a track with your friend, it's already on Dropbox, boom, link it, send it, boom, done.
So I owe my career to Spencer.
Okay, 10% commission for all earnings going forward. Most memorable venue you've played at?
Does that include festivals or?
Yeah, best ever show, like the best ever.
Well, I'd say the best ever show I had was S2O in Bangkok. The most famous place I've played would definitely be Green Valley in Brazil. That was number one DJ mag venue forever. That was a crazy thing, and probably one of the craziest experiences I've had. It's the only time I've been fully nervous was when I played after the Chainsmokers in Austria at this festival. They were playing closer to like 50,000 people. Yeah. And then I was plugging my USB and my hand was shaking like this. I was like,
don't turn on the
I was like, no one knows who I am, fuck. And
don't turn off the wrong USB.
And I remember sitting there next to Alex, the DJ, and he's like laughing at me. He slapped me on the head with his phone when he's doing a story because I was like trying to stay out of their frame. And it's funny hopping on stage after the Chainsmokers. He's like, hey, I'm Rave Radio. And everyone's like,
who? Amazing.
That was a crazy experience.
Do you remember that time I played after you and I plugged in my USB and then you just turned the music off to make me think that I plugged the wrong one in?
Was I drunk?
Yeah, and I was like, and you were like, ah, and I was like, shh.
See, another thing you should all know too, I was the last guy Spencer ever drank with.
That's true.
Hey, we've got a lot of milestones here. Got him into ice baths, last guy drunk with, set up my DJ career, my digital DJ career.
That was the reason why I quit after having one last drink with you.
And we're right here in this place.
Amazing.
Trying to play the golf simulator and missing every shot.
Shanking it all over the place. Yeah. I think I had to ban you from my golf simulator in case of damage.
I have to sign a waiver now when I go in.
Amazing. Brett, that was awesome to chat with you about that. Really good chance to get to know
thanks
you
for inviting me.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you very much for coming on the show. You guys can make sure you check out all his music on Spotify, Brett Allen, and obviously check out his new shirt range. That guy Co, which he's going to give to me, and I'm going to boast it around Dubai and hopefully get some sales for you. And thank you very much, mate. Cheers, really enjoyed that.
Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate it, bro.
Until the next time.
Yeah, mate. Lock, stock.
Make some noise in here.
Hey, ho.